because we're doing response versus reaction, part 2, stat response. Why people stay together for the kids, and it's not what you think. Why men are not leading in their home.
I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn.
Not so obvious ways to get the sex back.
So when you dated your husband in the beginning, did you ever answer the door with your hair all crazy? We're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
All right, welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast. And if you are just joining us, you're going to have to go back last episode, because we're doing response versus reaction, part 2, stat response. Why is this important? Because almost everybody in conflict in their marriage is using what I have created an acronym for, which is a safe reaction. You're keeping yourself safe. You're protecting yourself. You're not defending your partner. You're not defending the future of your marriage. You are certainly only focused on you when you react and you don't respond. And why stat response, why I created that was an easy way, even though it's the hardest thing for men to do in the program, it's the easy way to understand how you can respond and not react. Now, side note, if you have to deal with the anxiety, that little pit in your stomach, the fear-based decisions that you're making, all of these things, that's a whole separate level of training. And I mean, I've got some crazy training. If you want it, just make sure you reach out. It is hard. Often men will, I don't know if you know this, but often men will reach out to me and be like, "You're a bastard. I can't believe you'd make me do this." But it's one of the most effective
you never told me that.
It's one of the most effective ways I know to deal. It's how I got over the anxiety of worrying and about insecurity and what would be happening with Kathryn and were we going to make it? Was she having an affair? All the stuff that was causing me to do stupid shit. So safe react.
Which I wasn't, by the way.
Yeah, she wasn't. But anyways, you get the point. So, okay, so stat response is what I created so that you can respond, not react. And stat stands for S is structure, T is triggers, A is adventure, and the last T is test. Now, let me break it down for you. Okay, so structure. I really believe that it's the responsibility of the man to provide direction and structure for the marriage. And where this really comes into play for me is not because I'm perfect at it, because in fact, we're a great partnership. And when you're a great partnership, it's not all on just the man or just one person, because you both have strengths.
You find your place like a puzzle.
That's right. But where this really comes into play is a vast majority of men that come into my program, you guys are fighting so badly that it's just not going anywhere. But I don't know why we say repeat the cycle. It's just getting worse with every rotation. You're in separate rooms. You're separated in separate homes. We're talking about divorce. There's affairs going on. There's divorce papers. Like, it's a big majority of our clientele. And so, again, whoever's leading, whoever's doing it, if you're going to use this, man or woman, structure, where do you want to go? So, for example, if you're afraid to come in to the home because, I wonder what kind of mood they're going to be in. I wonder if the whole night's going to be ruined. Is this going to be another fight? I don't want it. You are literally succumbing to that anxiety, the fear, the insecurity, that you're letting your partner lead you down a path that has nothing to do with the person that you want to be. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? So I could come home and you could be in a really bad mood, honey, just miserable. The kids have been really hard. Things didn't go well with work. She's trying to get a new puppy right now, and it's been really hard to get one. And so maybe she's stressed out and anxious and angry. Do I have to let that affect my mood? No, I can still smile. I can still walk around and sing a Disney song. Like, that's what we do we sing our life as a Disney song sometimes. Our life
in the stressful situations. We just start singing because it's stressful.
That's right. We're doing a podcast for you today. So when you do this,
obviously we've seen Elf recently because we're both just I'm in a store and I'm singing.
Listen, the point is, who do you want to be? Right? You're certainly not going to be who you want to be. Your marriage isn't going to go where you want to go if you're relying on your partner to provide the structure. They're leading you down a negative path if they're in a bad mood. So why don't you start with creating the atmosphere? It's what I'd call the yes tone, but we'll talk about that another time. So structure, act like you would if you were having the life you want, and provide that. That could be all kinds of things, from how you make decisions to how you sing like we just did, trying to have a good laugh, trying to make a joke. Don't let the mood affect you. Where do you want this to go? Have anything you want to add to that?
No, as you were saying, act like you're living the life that you want. You sort of followed up with it, but act like the other person's mood, the other person's emotions are not there. It doesn't mean you ignore your partner's emotions. Obviously, you want to be there and validate and empathize with them, but don't let it affect you, which is just what he just said in the second part of it. But I really feel like you need to emphasize that.
It's funny that you said that, because the next T is trigger. Okay, so whether you're being triggered or not, and we'll deal with the the person stat responding to their trigger later. If your partner's in that bad mood, she's being triggered about something, right? So I'm going to use the pet example. She's looked at 482 dogs in the last 42 hours, I think, and like hasn't slept. She needs a dog. Okay, so
I was up on my phone.
So she's stressed out. Oh, this one, we didn't get this one. Oh, we didn't get this one, right? This could potentially get frustrating. It takes a while sometimes to find the right senior dog to adopt and take care of. Okay. And so essentially, she could get upset. Now, that could be anything that triggers. Just go with trigger. Okay. What did she just say? Kathryn said, empathize with your partner, give compassion. So we're not going to walk away from that. Like, I can appreciate where you're coming from. Try to truly understand where your partner's coming from with the T, the trigger, the first T, and try to be there for them. Show some empathy, show some compassion. This doesn't mean that when you validate, you have to agree with what's going on, but you need to be able to understand what they're feeling.
What they're going through.
Yeah.
Can we take a quick pause for a second so
Yeah.
I can say something? So because he just let you in on a little piece of our personal life where I'm trying to get a dog, we are getting one. And I just got a message from the lady that is she's in the shelter right now in Downey, California. She said, I'm here. This place is indescribably horrible. I'm barely able to not break down. I'm shaking.
Oh.
I'll have him soon. He is quiet and docile and shaking in his cage.
Oh.
So we'll keep you guys posted, but it all is going to work out. So I have been very high stress. I've been going through emotions of sadness and frustration because it's fallen through multiple times. That's why he used it as an example, because he's just provided structure for me, kept the mood of the house upbeat, singing and validating and just really getting on my team for how I'm feeling. But all my hard work in the last couple of days, it's going to pay off. We're going to show you guys.
Which brings us to another point. When you're providing structure, you're not trying to fix anything. I validated her feelings. I didn't say, oh, okay, well, that's no problem because we can go down to the shelter downtown here. We can get one right away. We can get one today. No, she wants to get a specific kind of dog, and this is kind of rescue and all. So anyways, that's why we don't fix anything with structure, okay, which a lot of men like to do. All right, the next T is adventure, which ties into that singing thing that we were talking about, the structure. It's literally what you're doing, okay? Now, you might use curiosity, you might use humor, you might use fun. The whole point is to show up and give the alternative solution, right? So I can't think of an example that I use with the dog. I think I'm mostly just validate, because you're never going to use the whole formula. It's going to be like sort of based off what is going on.
Like how you reacted with the dog situation?
Yeah.
So if I said, we got declined again, and we get declined because of the age of our children, because maybe these dogs bite, or maybe because we're too far away. We're in Canada. We're trying to get a dog from the US because there's an overpopulation there. So I'd say, we got declined again. And he would say, that really sucks, honey.
Yeah. So validation.
I know how much you had your heart set on that dog. Mm-hmm. And then he'll go into a little bit more, make it a little bit funny and be like, I really wanted that dog too. Damn it. That's the one that I have my eye on.
Yeah. That's
and he'd really he doesn't.
Oh yeah. And you had like a little tip for your hair was like that. I was like, oh, it looks like the haircut of the dog or something.
Oh yeah. You guys have the same hair.
Yeah. So that'd be providing adventure, right?
Yeah.
Which is showing the direction of that structure where you're thinking you're going. Okay. And then the last T is test. Now, test, I just want to take a break for a second and just talk it. Shit test, fitness test. This is all given to women. This is what women do. There's books, what women mean when they want to test. I think is what it's called. It's the most driest read I've ever read in my life, but it's got some good information. There's lots of books. But listen, people test. So stop putting this on women. Okay. If you tell me you're going to meet me for coffee and you don't, I have a guy this week, actually, and I'm not meeting him this week because last week he bailed on me last minute. I'm busy this week. You know what I mean? I don't want to make plans and then see that's going to fall through. This has happened multiple times, And so people test. And I'm not out testing. I'm just saying it's a fact of life. If you don't follow through, you fail a test, because tests are subconscious too. Right?
I always tell my women, it's probably not intentional and it's probably not malicious. I had a client just today that said,
I heard that call. Yeah.
Yeah. She said, is it possible that my husband is trying to push me to see if I'm going to turn into that woman again? Because I get women to change on a dime. We make drastic changes. And sometimes the husbands are like, whoa, what is this? And so they push a little bit to see if they can get their wives crazy to come back out again, which usually it can happen because they have to get, they have to be able to learn how to maintain stability and maintain their composure and be that strong woman I'm trying to build. And sometimes it can be easy. You know how to poke my crazy buttons. Mm-hmm. So she said, could my husband just be, your husband calls it a shit test. Could my husband be doing that? And I said, absolutely he could, but don't think about it as being intentional or malicious. It's just something that people do because it's, human nature to see if something is actually real, to see if something is going to change.
That's
You're
right.
testing it. It's like testing the waters isn't a bad thing. You stick your toe in to see if it's hot because you don't want to burn yourself. It's a different kind of test, but it's the same sort of parallel.
And it's going to be coming out right around New Year's. So just in case that you're challenging this, think about everybody you talk to that said they're going to follow through on a workout regime, they're going to lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, and hasn't over the last 5 years having the same resolution. Why do you think I think it's January 19th, most people have stopped their New Year's resolutions? You are failing tests everywhere in your life. But we're going to use the tests as a T in STAT, the last T, because it's really important to understand. Just like Kathryn was talking about, my men have the same problem. If your wife is saying like, how do I know this is real? I'm not going to fall for it this time. Why didn't you do this before? All of these things, or when she's nagging at you, right? When we're talking about like, what, you got to take the trash out, blah, blah, blah. You're like, yeah, baby, I did it. See, now you're safe reacting instead of stat responding, right? Go back and listen to the last episode. And you start going on about how you always take out the trash, this and that. Listen, when your partner tests, man or woman, in fact, use this in any relationship in your life, they just don't know it's real. And I'm going to say that because even if it's a stranger at the grocery store and you're like letting somebody in front of you because they have a few items and they can't believe it because of how they've been treated in their life, right? You pay for somebody behind the drive-thru. They can't believe it, okay? When you are somebody different than what the behavior that they're used to receiving in their life, your partner's the worst. So am I being tested? Then just own it. You don't have to defend yourself. You just have to go, I need to be consistent. I like to say to you, thanks for keeping me accountable, or thanks for a reminder. Yeah, And so when you get this, you get it. You provide structure for the direction that you want to go. You don't get sucked down this stupid fucking rabbit hole that, well, we did. And it gets worse and worse and worse. Stop safe reacting. Start stat responding and go get your life.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Bye.
Bye.